All right, good evening, everyone. Here today for the SG Weekly, or sorry, SG Daily mode is Tournament, Map Compass Shuffle, Boss Shuffle. As far as I'm aware, there is no other restrictions on items, so we're just not going to have the maps and compasses in the normal locations, and the bosses will be shuffled. Today we have racers Akuhesh, Specs, Some Person No, and Koi. And let's see. Looks like Koi is using their usual sprite of the Red Maiden. Specs using their usual Power Ranger sprite. Akuhesh is using a chef sprite. But I do not know what Some Person No sprite is from what I have here. And we begin. Specs is starting at the house, as well as Some Person No. So half the stream's going to the village, other half's going to the uncle. So far, no map checks. And looks like we are getting a lumberjack check from Akuhesh. And oh, Koi is doing the hula hand glitch. So they're going to be picking up 225 rupees and exiting straight through the house. And did not see what was on Lumberjack from Akuhesh's screen. And it looks like nothing of import was on the uncles, so Specs and Some Person No are now both heading towards the village. And map. Okay, looks like a compass on Lumberjack. Alright. We have the map for Hera. Oh, that's right, there's map compass shuffle. A map check would have been nothing. And so far, no items to really speak of, but Akuhesh is about to hit the village of the Kakariko village and find one of the earliest item density locations, and that should change things. And just confirmed, it is compass on Lumberjack, so we are not going to be forced to do AGA 1 today. I'm barring that being Dark World access. And it looks like Akash is going for well first rather than Blind Hut. Gets a compass for the troubles, map, Pizza Heart, and Pizza Heart. And for Specs' screen, we're going to be seeing Blind's Hut. Okay, we have a glove, bottle, cape, and looks like a 300 pack of rupees. So Blind's Hut has some serious items today. Let's see what add a map. Okay, so we found a lot of maps so far. But knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So it also means everyone's going to be able to complete the entire village on their first trip through. No items left behind. You're going to have easy bottle of merchant money and potion for Bottle Boy. Speaking of Bottle Merchant, he just gave arrows. Let's see what Bottle Boy has. Hammer. So 2/3 Dark World access and a weapon. Very early on. 20 bucks. Did we see? I did not see the chicken hut. Looks like I could get. Nope, they need to buy bombs. That's right. They do not have bombs. But might be seeing that from Specs first. Yep. Right about the same time, so we'll be getting that new knowledge there. And boots. So this was a very, very generous Kakariko village. Very generous start. No swords, which are always nice to have, but hammer does tempered sword damage anyways. And this makes it pretty much guaranteed that it's not going to be an Agassiz. It's still possible, but it's very, very unlikely. And I did not see what was in there. Okay, it was just bombs behind a bomb wall, so. And Specs will be the first one leaving the village, checking the library. Yep. Sees a bottle there and leaves the bottle behind. Gonna scout the race game, which makes perfect sense. And 20 bucks, leaving it behind. And looks like they're going to, yep, Sanctuary for probably bonk rocks and a dip into the back of Escape. Yep. Scratch the bonk rocks, they're just going to the back of Escape. With these items, we're probably still going to see a lot of overlap in routing. We're seeing bonk rocks from Akuhesh, and they'll probably be going into back of Escape very quickly, and just a compass for troubles. And some personnel is picking up the bottle. Makes perfect sense. 2 bottles, why not? Gonna get a good opportunity to fill them at the waterfall ferry if you fake flip or water walk. And seeing a dam from Specs. Pizza Heart and Pizza Heart in the chest. It looks like some personnel is not checking back of Escape just yet. They're doing South Shore checks. And Akuhesh is going into Escape. Front side. Probably with the hammer, they will probably clear at least to the cell. I did miss what was on outside the dam, but doesn't look like it was anything of import. 50 rupees. Okay, thank you. And going after those mini moldworms with a hammer, that's kind of awkward because the hammer's hitbox is okay. Abandoning that, going for bomb strat. A boomerang, $20. And there's Dark World access, Moon Pearl, and more money. So, looks like Specs is going to continue up to at least Ice Rod Cave with that kind of money, possibly even doing a Zora check. Or some person took a death, which is the downside of still being 4 hearts green mail. You can take exactly 1 hit from those crabs and survive. They do 2 hearts damage green mail, and they are everywhere. And it looks like Koi went up the mountain. Unfortunately, took a death, risking the old man. And it looks like Specs picked up guaranteed having Zora money before picking up Ice Rod check. So definitely water walking. We have a green pendant Ice Palace confirmed from the Sage. Some person we have Piece of Heart, a map, and another map. So some person did not get their mini Moldorm Cave checks, which is unfortunate because they will probably dip Eastern before heading back there. Seeing some out of... Okay, we have a blue mail into Waterfall Ferry, but Specs is not filling up their bottle. And some person is heading into Eastern, whereas Koi and Akuheisha are both doing South Shore checks. We'll find their Dark World access. So we've got some pretty good variance between runners right now. And Zora has vanilla flippers. Vanilla location flippers. So with that, kind of, if you're running this race, you're kind of hoping that you have a vanilla swamp house at least, so those flippers mean something. Because as we know, Ice Palace is a green pendant dungeon. Not the worst pendant to have, but not the best one either. Some person is about to get second check into Eastern, whereas Specs is doing Hype Cave and the Dark World first. Probably hoping for Sword. Or some other progression. Sword or Hookshot. Gets a flute for their troubles. Flute, bombs, arrows, and a heart container. So, Hype 2 out of 10. Koi is also heading that way. Looks like they have the money. Oh, they're going to doing 1 extra check there. Hopefully it'll be something special there, because this is... Yeah, checking under the bridge here, it's a very isolated check, and a lot of people leave it. Unfortunately, it does not pay off, and Koi is leaving Zora alone. Can't tell, is that 300? Nope, that's 500. So Koi had Zora money, but... And it looked like I saw a map check from Akuheisha. It looks like Swamp Palace is a crystal. So those flippers are logically required. Aku's heading into... Starting with the front of the Skullwoods. It's always a good Dark World check. Found 1 item up front. And will they be going any deeper, or will they be abandoning this? Some personnel's reached the end of their Eastern Palace checks, and nothing good has come of it, unfortunately. Akuhesh is continuing with the checking the middle chest here, so they'll probably be clearing the front of Skull Woods, hoping for 2 items up front, and if it's a Crystal Agomo dungeon. And Specs is close behind. And there is a sword in Skull Woods. So, first sword available. Oh, wait, no, it can't be Skull Woods. I missed where that sword was. No, sword was in Zelda Cell? Okay, thank you. Alright, so that is a huge advantage for Akuhesh, because while it does less damage than the hammer does, the sword also gives you that, lets you dash freely, push things away from you, and it's more immediate than your stun items. Gives you that space, and makes blind a lot easier. Which is probably... Well, actually, this is a boss shuffle, so it's not necessarily blind in that cell. Alright, and... So far, Specs has... Well, Specs and Koi now both have the flute, whereas Aku has 1 sword advantage. Some personnel is checking Ice Rock Cave. Will probably be... Well, no, they don't have Zora money, so they might be leaving Zora alone. They're not saving... Nope, they are not water walking. They'll possibly realize they didn't set up the water walk there. So far, Skull Woods has no progression, but both items in front, so if it is a crystal dungeon, it'll be a nice, easy go mode, probably the last dungeon crystal they get before entering GT. And we're going to see Dig Game from Koi's side of the screen. There's Aku. Oh, we're about to see... Okay, Bumper Ledge is nothing. The Brewer's House is a map to Hyrule Castle, so that's also nothing. A lot of red 20s from the Dig Game, though. Now, some personnel did do the water walking. Unfortunately, they're not going to have the... Unless I'm reading that wrong, does not look like they have the money to buy those flippers. So they will be coming back for those, unfortunately. And Akuhesh has just entered Thieves Town. Alright, piece of full heart container in the front. And a big key. There are 4 items in Thieves Town. Ideally, you want to find them up front, but since everyone has the hammer, it's not a big issue either way. Some personnel is about to do the back of escape, and unfortunately they won't find anything there. And a compass up front. Oh, that's right, map compass shuffle. So there are 2 extra checks, so there are 6 checks total in Thieves Town. And guessing Akuhesh is probably going to... Oh, they are clearing the full dungeon. They are not going just checking what the boss is. But this early on, this many checks, it makes perfect sense to go to the back. Koi's checking the desert area, found nothing of consequence on the desert ledge. Going to go check Sasrala's cave, which should be new information for us. Specs goes to the boss fight, and Blind is completely unrandomized today. Having to do a hammer blind fight, which... well, they have blue mail, which does make things a little easier. Got through stage 2 with 2.5 hearts remaining. And they have a full... oh, they have a red potion. They're solid. They are solid. Alright, Koi is going back up the mountain. Missed what was on the old man, but not seeing anything new on tracker. Alright, Spectacle Rock has nothing inside it or on top of it, just rupees. And did Specs take it? I looked away. Specs might have taken a loss there on Blind, which Hammer Strip. Yep. Okay, Specs did take a death on Blind. That's unfortunate, but choosing to go further into the dungeon, which unfortunately won't yield any results based off knowledge we have from Occupation Screen. So right now, everyone's being forced into the same section of the map. Koi is... oh, that's right. Koi has flute. That's why he's still in the mountain. But it makes perfect sense going to Thieves Town. You have hammer. So every item here is in logic. Ooh. Oh, there is a vanilla mint. Okay. Thank you. I missed that one. Alright, looks like Blind got a little off script, but with cape and sword. Oh, not holding onto the wall to preserve... Nope, just gonna go... So if you have the cape active and you hang onto the wall, you do not lose any magic. And bombs on Blind, and the blue pendant, so not a required boss. So that is 2 pendant knowledge. We are just looking for our... once we know the final pendant, then we can figure out what items are remaining for go mode. Alright, but with those vanilla mitts going straight up to the hammer pegs. And I wonder if Aku's going to be doing Smith chain checks, because you can pick up the Smith, do the World Tour, and that would have you coming back, turning into Smith while activating your flute. But from there, hell, where to go? Can't do much on the mountain. In fact, we know there's nothing up there. That really just leaves King's Tomb and a pod dip. King's Tomb, pod dip. And yeah, there's a couple East Deathbound checks. There's Pyramid and Catfish. But only Specs has the flippers, which... yeah, and but even without the flippers, most people are just... it's the last dense area to go to. Specs is going in for another attempt against Blind. And, oh, unfortunate. Took a second death there. And is abandoning Thieves Town. But they got away. They left with the one item that mattered there. They have the Titan's Mitts. And that's really all that matters from there. So all we're seeing now is, yeah, everyone's cleaning up, going where everyone else has been. Koi is also going straight to the back. Aku's about to pick up their flute. And they will probably follow that up the mountain. But that will only keep them occupied so long. Some person is in the same scenario, just enough bombs to get those items. And where's Specs is also probably going to. I don't know if they've done Dig Game yet. Yep, do you believe that's yeah, that's Akuhaisha's stream is the TMNT soundtrack. Specs is using Antarian, and Koi unfortunately doesn't have audio today. Some personnel is using vanilla music. Alright, turned into Smith, about to activate their flute. Oh, we are seeing Pyramid from some personnel. Here's some new knowledge for us. Been waiting for someone. And the mirrors on the pyramid. And that opens up a whole ton of checks. So with that mirror hammer flute, that's a... And as we know, Titan's Mitts as well in Beefstown. That is nearly everything on Death Mountain open. Koi is picking up their Titan's Mitts right now. Aku is taking a quick check into Meyer area. It looked like a Bombos medallion for Meyer. Can't confirm, I only saw a glimpse of it though. Gets a blue cane. And the third bottle that I've seen so far. Koi's going for a hammer blind fight. And unfortunately takes a death. We are about to see Catfish from some personnel, and it looks like they're going to route that in with the Zora check. So they will be getting their flippers very soon. And it looks like Aku is rescuing the old man from the mountain. And Specs is doing a trip over to Eastern Palace, which, as we know, yep, finding out Ice Palace is a pendant. Oh, there's the second sword for Koi. I missed that one. So Hammer Pegs leads to Master Sword, which, well, Master Sword for, so we have one sword in Zoracell, one sword in Hammer Pegs. So that gives Aku a very, very hefty advantage in damage dealt right now. Catfish had hookshot too. Ooh. Okay. With that. Interesting. So that makes Swamp Palace full clearable. And could have sworn I saw on a map check that Swamp Palace is a crystal. But I'm guessing some personnel wants to probably go in there with a sword. Avoid doing the cutscene fight with Argus. And Akuhaisha is about to do their Zora do their water walking, get those flippers, but this puts some personnel actually at quite an advantage over Specs and Aku because, yeah, you've done all these Zora checks, you've got something out of that. Catfish is an easy last location. And since Swamp Palace is a crystal, it's not a hover option seed. You're going to need that hook shot. Actually, it does make a fair bit of sense to do mountain checks with the hook shot. Moldworm with Hammer is just a quicker, easier boss. And with Hammer hook shot, you can clear out everything but Dark Death Mountain. And again, that hook shot is super isolated. So it's a lot of people are probably not going to have that for quite some time. Oh yes, that's right. I keep forgetting it is Boss Shuffle. I'm staring right at it. But even without that, it's a dense item location. The mountain... It's very rare the mountain has nothing. Yep, vanilla flips. That's... It is rare, but it happens. Aku's finding out about the green pendant. Specs is going to the mire, it looks like. Nope, they're doing the desert checks first. So we're probably going to get a lot of information from some person no first. Unless someone breaks into a pod, but without a bow, it makes little sense to go into pod. Your two things lock out half that dungeon logically. It's possible for there to be something early that's not bow or lamp locked, but it's not worth the time sink to do a trip there. When it makes more sense to do the pyramid and catfish first, then go there. Specs is going into escape and going to the front of it, going to the cell, so we'll find their master sword at the end of that road. Aku's in Eastern Palace, where some personnel just went into Tower of Hera. And early big key, always nice. But with this mode, it's very likely that there's going to be an item in the basement, which, based on items, they are going to have to leave behind. But with those flippers, I'm guessing Spec's next move will be to maybe North Dark World routing to get to Catfish, find that hook shot. Which would isolate the mirror, unfortunately. That is actually an unfortunate placement if you're trying to leave items behind. Because either one of those items opens up a lot of the Death Mountain. Alright, trying to get a Hera pot for some person. No, looks... Nope. Not happening. And... Nope. Looks like the movements just aren't working for him today. Which, it happens to everyone. It's... Oh, almost had it there. Are they going for the bumps? Nope, they're sticking to the... But to be fair, a lot of people learn the one setup and stick with it. Okay, have abandoned that and are going for traditional climb. And we are going to see Dark Cross from Specs. I can't remember if we've seen Dark Cross yet, so that might be new information for us. Koi is also an escape, so we're going to find their Master Sword as well. Alright, Aku is in the pod area. Will they be going into pod itself first? They will. So some new information there. Okay, just money and Dark Cross. And yep, Specs is heading towards the pyramid. We'll find the mirror very quickly now. Might unfortunately might take that and leave. Oh, they oh, it must be a pallet shuffle. I thought they were Dark World, but nope, they are in Light World, checking under a bridge for that Pizza Heart. I have to question, if I didn't see Moldorm with the multiple eyes, I'd say, like, this looks pretty vanilla. That's two bosses in their vanilla locations. And first crystal, for some person no, Tower of Terror at 34.49. So we still don't know what the red pendant is. But we are seeing the front of Pod. Pod was not bow locked. And that leaves all the way up to, is that the compass room, I think? There is one more check in Pod that is currently in logic. But again, item dense location usually leads to something. And we're going to see a potion glitch from Aku right now. And beautifully done. Some person no is going to the basement without a fire source. Oh dear. Specs has gone back and defeated Blind to find that blue pendant. Alright, Koi is right behind Akuhaish in a pod dip. Fortunately, their progression is... well, there could still be something there. Fortunately, the really impressive progression is right outside it. We're about to see the back from Aku's screen. And okay, so the rest of Pod is out of logic. But we are about to see Paradox Cave from Some Person No, which will probably have our progression for the seed. Bow in the Dark Maze. So we have a Firelock Bow. And high possibility that Aku will... well... yeah, with their setup, it's at least knowledge, but... Dark basement, okay. So if they find a lamp... dark basement, that's actually... no, that would lamp or fire rod. I saw that mushroom. That mushroom... Wait, that mushroom is in logic. So I think mushroom might actually be the last logical check for progression. I mean, a bow inside pod is always nice to see. Alright. And not taking a save quit out. Are they looking for a death warp? Alright, there they go. They found one of the... yeah. So that book might actually be our progression. It's either that book or whatever's on the mushroom. And it's really unfortunate considering everyone else will be up there with Master Sword and be able to turn that in for the most out of the way book check right away. And some personnel looks like is going into... I completely blanked that Swamp Palace was a thing, even after being surprised no one was going into Swamp Palace. Nope. They changed their mind. Where are they going? Looks like some personnel is heading to Pod. And Aku is going to the boss, hoping for a defeatable boss, and I mean, barring that, you have boss knowledge, which worst case scenario would be Argus, where the item that lets you defeat it is right outside, and you could have one-tripped this, but I mean, it's boss shuffle. We've seen so far vanilla boss and vanilla boss, but give it a minute. Let's see if any of this is randomized. Nope, I was mistaken. Some personnel checked under the bridge and is now heading back to Swamp Palace. Nope, they're checking. Nope, they're doing water. They're checking the floating island, or not floating, the lake islands. Yeah, for a compass. And it was Armos Knights. Almost vanilla boss. Just in the wrong, not in the light world. So that's going to be 2 bosses cleared for Aku. Right about the same time, Specs gets their second boss cleared, and it is a crystal in pod. Ooh, very nice. So 1 crystal away from being... yeah, from opening up the Pyramid Fairy. And I can't tell on this tracker, do we have knowledge for the second red crystal? Meyer. Okay, so that pretty much guarantees. That guarantees it's not going to be a Pyramid Fairy seed. Well, again, still possible, but unlikely. It'd have to be something like a Ice Rod or Medallion access to Turtle Rock. And with that bow, Aku is going straight into Eastern Palace, to find out what that boss is and hopefully defeat it. Which will give them a dungeon clear advantage, possibly a crystal advantage. We'll see in a minute. And I would guessing here Specs is just about to find, well, they're probably going to open the, assuming they retry, yep, they're going to retry the bomb jump. Going to open up the pod, or the Turtle Rock portal, get that medallion knowledge before doing Dark Depth Mountain checks, and some personnel is still adamantly avoiding Swamp Palace. Oh, and they unfortunately do not have their either of their swords yet. All right, and we have a Quake Axis Turtle Rock, another vanilla result. Okay, so Specs came, oh, that's right. Specs picked up a mirror and left Hookshot, unfortunately. So far, some personnel is the only person on Restream to have both Hookshot and mirror. Oh, and there's an Argus and Eastern Palace with Kate Master Sword's strategy, able to slowly drain your magic while you're constantly slashing those eyes. And we're down to the main eye. 8 shots and we're done. Did I say the wrong button? Vitreous Violet, yep. And it's a crystal. So that's 2 crystals for Aku. Some personnel is doing escape. We'll find their first sword at the end of this, which will be quite the relief for them, I'm sure. And I missed Ice Rod, but it must have been Dark. It must have been Dark Death Mountain. I'm assuming Super Bunny Cave. And I'm gonna go see what that book on Ether tablet turns into, because that's probably progression. Well, it still is a 50-50 chance of that book being progression. If I'm counting item... Well, actually, no, it's not 50-50. I keep forgetting Swamp Palace is a thing, because only one person on stream is able to full clear. About to get their sword, so I'm... Maybe after getting sword, some person will go inside. Or possibly go back to Thieves Town. And leaving Dark Cross alone, which is the right move. Aku is inside Ice Palace now. And so we'll have some new information there. And yes, some personnel is going back to Thieves Town area. So if they do go into Thieves Town, into the basement, they will find their Titan's Mitts, which will lead them right away to their Master Sword, which will make them almost as happy as finding progression. Not quite. Alright, Aku's going back to flip the switch. Which, I've heard both sides of that debate. Wherever you should flick this. Oh, that's right. For some reason, I thought they were doing Icebreaker without the red cane. Because I do Icebreaker too often, because it's awesome. Icebreaker is amazing. So we'll get to see some good old Ice Palace bomb jump. Specs has followed that book into Desert Palace, which, without a fire source, is not clearable, regardless of what boss is inside of it. And yeah, that's right, it had Flute Mirror, so that was already in logic. Going back to the Thieves Town area. For what? I'm not sure. Koi just turned in their mushroom, I think. And is going into Ice Palace. I mean, it's a pretty quick check. And also has the option of filling in. Oh, going... where are... You have the flippers. Oh wait, no, you do not have the flippers. Koi does not have the flippers. Koi is about to get their flippers, though. And their blue mail. Oh, Specs is doing purple chest. And probably K45 while they're at it. Wrapping up with a Bombos tablet check, which... maybe you found the book in a weird location. You're hoping that's your progression. Always finding that there's nothing on the ledge is going to be, I don't know about happy, a little amused that it's a vanilla flippers this seed. There's Aku is about to get to ice. Is that ice? Yeah, ice tea chest or it's ice cross. And found the Ether medallion for troubles. Which, assuming Turtle Rock is a crystal, does not help them. So we're looking for the vanilla Quake access to Turtle Rock. Alright, we're about to see from Spec's side what that Bombos medallion turns into. Right about the time Aku's going into the boss fight at Ice Palace. And... oops. No. And we have Helmasaur in Ice Palace. So now... this gives Aku a very comfortable boss clear lead. But again, they're still down 2 required items, the hookshot and the mirror, which... alright, Koi is getting their mirror. Will Koi go and pick up their hookshot? And, oh yes, green pendant. But still an item. Also 2/3 pet, in case that's a thing. And Koi is heading towards the catfish, so will be rewarded for that with their hookshot. Being the second player on Restream tonight to have both hookshot and mirror. Specs is doing graveyard ledge to King's Tomb. And if Specs is going to go... oh, has already done King's Tomb. Alright, Specs is also heading that direction. Will be getting hookshot as well. Might be saving quitting there, going... nah. Maybe going up the mountain. But if you've been doing this seed and you've done all those checks, you don't want to go back where you were. Am I missing? Yeah. Mirror, flippers, hammer, and hookshot. Yep, Swamp Palace is fully in logic. Alright, some personnel is about to find their Master Sword. Koi is going up the mountain with that hook shot, so we'll be getting a few extra checks that Specs did not get up there. We'll be seeing the rest of Hookshot Cave. Pick up the Ice Rod as well. And the book. And some person knows turning in purple chest. Will they be going into Swamp Palace? Or Specs is going into Swamp Palace, so we will be getting new information from them. So at this point, again, it's hard to say. We do know Bo is at the very least Fire Rod locked, but probably Lamp locked. And unfortunate big key location. Some personnel did stiff the blocks. Okay, where's... Are you talking about the purple chest? That is a... Oh wait, no, that couldn't have been purple chest. They flew. They were in Light World for that. Apologize, I was looking away for that one. But they're going inside Desert Palace, which we know won't lead to anything, unfortunately. And without a fire source, they can't clear this dungeon. Alright, we have found Lamp. Lamp is on shovel. So Akuhaisha is all the way in logic. Probably feeling real good. Unfortunately, that hookshot location is going to hurt them. Oh, block delete. Yes, you can use items if you press the Y button while pushing on a block. And outside of dungeons, if you mirror something, it will delete the block. But if you are in dungeon, obviously you're activating your mirror, and you'll just mirror out of dungeon. But you can also do a hook shot, which allows you to basically hook shot through items. Or you can do the same with your fire rod, and shoot fire rod shots through items. And we're seeing left side swamp immediately from Specs. Which with this mode makes perfect sense. It's 2 extra checks. Swamp goes from being a I think it's a 5-check dungeon to a 7-check dungeon. It's either 5 to 7 or 6 to 8. Regardless, it's dense item location, which is why I've been curious when someone was going to go in there. And some personnel is going back up the mountain for their Dark Death Mountain checks. I'm gonna get that book. And unfortunate Death Rock nearly blocked them from getting it. There is our Quake and left side swamp. So, if there is a... Don't think we have last pendant knowledge yet. But if Turtle Rock is a crystal, left side swamp is required. So this seed has been a little rude with some item placement. That hookshot and mirror, I mean, they are routed well together, but if you're last locationing things and you're like, okay, I found something, I want to catch back up and leave stuff behind, this is the very seed that will punish you for that. And it looks like Specs is doing the bomb setup for their diver down here. Half magic. Always nice to have half magic. Never required, but it's a very nice quality of life item. Alright, some personnel just got their red mail along with the rest of their... And at this point, I'm pretty sure that makes Swamp Palace... Well, it could be Swamp Palace or Desert Boss with that lamp. And Swamp is another Armos Knights, and unfortunately Specs does not have that bow, which makes Armos a lot easier. But Blue Cane and Blue Boomerang do a pretty decent job. Right now has them corralled into a corner, and all the way onto the final one. And Compass for their trouble, and a Crystal. Okay. That does, however, unlock Turtle Rock. More likely that Specs will go into Pod than Turtle... Well, actually no, they haven't done Hookshot Cave checks, so there's a fair bit for them up the mountain. Koi's picking up their Tower of Hera Crystal. Yep. No red cane, so... Yeah, that's true. Although it does occur, unless I really miss what was the Meyer medallion. Meyer should be open. Alright, so I was wrong about Meyer. Meyer's Quake, so Quake medallion is required, no matter what. So left side swamp, vanilla big key chest is required. Specs taking a dip in there, which makes perfect sense. Again, you want to avoid doing extra mountain climbs. And we love to see it because for us it's new information. Looks like Koi is catching up on that dungeon clear rate. Well, actually no, they're not going to be able to clear that dungeon. Aku is going into the swamp. Might... If they leave left side swamp behind... Actually, no, they do not have hookshot. Wait. They do have hookshot. They grabbed it while I was looking at our screen. So they do have hookshot, but if they leave left side swamp behind... There is a red cane in Meyer. Red cane in Meyer, second check. So we have a vanilla Flippers, a French vanilla red cane. So right now, Specs has to be feeling really good, because depending on Dark Room, how comfortable Specs is with the Meyer Dark Room, or that and the Pod Dark Room. Those are the two ones that are left that are kind of difficult. Well, I say kind of. Meyer is really difficult. But from their mind's eye, they're 2 items from Go mode. They know they're... Oh, that's right. It was vanilla. So this is just... for a seed that's supposed to have vanilla boss shovel, we also had 2 vanilla bosses. Before I forget about that. So this has been a very vanilla seed. Alright, and Aku is going to left side swamp. We'll be finding that their logically required quake. And crystal clear, 1-2 versus. So they're tied up for crystal clears with specs at the moment. And I do not see our third pendant, so we are still in that little unsure moment where we don't know what our final pendant is. And looks like Specs left Meyer behind without the logical lamp. Opening up Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock does love to have your go mode all the way in the backside, all the way at Laser Bridge or somewhere equally annoying. And Koi has just entered Swamp. Ooh, I saw. Wow. Aku, did they mirror out? Did they pick up Quake or not? Don't see on their tracker. Or they Oh, did Aku drown the key? Yep, that's unfortunate, but it does happen. The diver down setups are just slightly different from one to the other, and that one does also has that fire bar which sporadically comes in there and ruins your setup. But so far, Turtle Rock is not Fire Rod locked. Letting Specs get all the way to the midpoint, possibly all the way up to Laser Bridge. Actually, pretty sure it will still let you get to Laser Bridge if you're not Fire Rod locked from the beginning. Speaking of that Fire Rod, we have Fire Rod, so based off that, I'm pretty sure we have Knowledge Mode from the restream. We know where Bo is, we know where both rods are, we have the medallion for both dungeons, and we know the lamp. Oh, it is a horrible location. And this is pretty much last location again and again, the seed. This is I don't want to say an evil seed, I mean, we've all seen worse seeds than this, but that's never fun finding. Especially the dungeon that's so often Fire Rod locked. And checking Mimic Cave, because you're there. And again, Specs still doesn't have Bow, and there's still that possibility of another bow outside of pod. And I did not see where that shovel was, but shovel leads to the lamp. And if that shovel's in an awkward location, yeah, it really is. I mean, bow and not bow locked pod. Even if it's bow locked, like if you have the potion, the what's that glitch called? The potion glitch is fairly easy to learn, and again, Pod loves having progression in it, so that's not the worst of them. But Red Cane and Mire is a little mean, but the Fire Rod and Turtle Rock is where it really just gets hurtful. And Specs going back to Skull Woods to clear that out. And at this point, probably the only saving grace the seed could have is if Turtle Rock is the final pendant. Because then you don't have to mirror to the front, get your other checks up there, because at least one small key or big key is trapped there. And yeah, that's small that's a little comfort to anyone playing this seed. All right, Aku's just cleared out. All right, Aku and Koi lined up almost perfectly for that crystal collection there in Swamp Palace. It can be a little tedious. And unfortunately, Aku ran out of arrows, so couldn't. Armos has weird damage calculations. Okay, so that's where Shovel is, and oh, that's also kind of gross logic, because isn't Bombos in Pod? And we are getting a ped check from Specs at this moment. Dark Maze of Pod, okay. Alright. Didn't see what was on Pod, or on Ped, but Solo Arrow. Okay, that Arrow of Destiny. I mean... Yep. Alright, and Specs is following that Fire Rod, clearing a dungeon in their path. So... Has anyone... Nope. No one has cleared Desert quite yet. So we're going to see the first Desert boss clear. Some personnel is heading into Pod. Going to find... Hopefully going to find their bow and Bombos in here. And should they go all the way to the boss, it's a fairly easy, it's a Armos Knights for the boss here. And from spec screen, we're going to see in a minute what the Desert Palace boss is. Akuhaish is just a minute or so behind entering that dungeons. Ice Palace. And the Fire Rod is in the big key chest, the vanilla big key chest of Turtle Rock. So this seed is really trying for people. And wait, was that a vanilla boss in Desert Palace? But it was a crystal. So we have still yet to... It was Moth, okay. Alright, guys. It was a very quick boss fight. I turned away to look at chat for a second, and the boss was gone, so... Only a couple things died that quickly. And going back into Mire for Specs. Koi is also going into Mire. Akuhaish is just about to... Yep, just defeated the Moth in Desert Palace. For what should be their fourth crystal. And looks like Yeah, we have four crystals for Aku and Koi. Specs has 3 crystals and 2 crystals for some personnel. Yep, Heroes in the half shell. That is a great soundtrack. Koi finds their red cane. So will Aku be going into Mire? No, not going into Mire. So I might have probably did their Dark Mountain checks without the hookshot. And we're seeing a Mire basement dark room. That first room in the Mire basement. It's such an awkward positioning. And that might be it from Specs. Nope, not quite. But keeping their magic, it really makes seeds increases replayability, helps you differentiate between seeds, because if you do enough randomizer seeds, they start bleeding together into your brain, and having different soundtracks while you play does help space them out a little bit. All right. And Specs successfully got through the first dark room and the second, so they are one dark room away from being free and clear of Mire. One of the worst dark rooms in the game. Aku found the big key on the left side. Which dungeon? Clearing out. Alright, that's all. With the magic powder, it's very, very nice to clear out Mire with magic powder because it lets you free heal at the end. And it's going to be Land Molus. So, Light World enemies are in their Dark World equivalent dungeons today. We had Armos Knights in Pod and Land Molus in Mire. And Trolldorm is right where Trolldorm belongs. The one dungeon where you can actually do anything to people. Alright, so some personnel has their bow and bombos tap. This is an Randomizer. Moldworm can have multiple. It can have up to 8 eyes, I want to say. It can have like between 1 and 8 eyes. It's one of the ways you can tell you're playing an Randomizer seed, because I think it could still have normal 2 eyes. No, we don't need a 0-eyed Moldworm. That will haunt my nightmares. Yeah, this is a actually we still we have enough crystal knowledge now that we know that Turtle Rock is indeed the final pendant. So the one saving grace of this seed, the one saving grace, is that your bow is, or sorry, not that your fire rod in Turtle Rock, once you get that for your go mode, you can just leave. You don't have to go back to. Yep. But it still has something in it. Because Turtle Rock is very needy. Aku was probably doing the if you get caught on top of those blocks, the right when they switch from I think it's blue to red, you're in an invincibility state, so that's the goal there. That way you can just safely sit there, have a nice coffee break, wait for those tiles to... Alright, Aku is going... Oh, Aku does not have the red cane, do they? The bow is in pod. In, I believe, the dark basement. And the lamp that logically unlocks it is on Dig Game, and the shovel is in Ice Palace. And a fire rod is inside Turtle Rock at the big key chest. Yep. Maybe they're hoping the key's under the door. I mean, it's very common with Turtle Rock for what you need to get inside being... It's usually a medallion right outside here in Hookshot Cave. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're just like, okay, there's almost never anything in Mire. And I do believe that's everyone with red mail at this point. Which, again, nice thing to have. Alright, Koi has reached go mode first at a time of 1 hour and 19 minutes and roughly 32 seconds. Going to clear most likely Skull Woods, then Desert Palace, and then just go all the way up to, yep. And looks like the next person that's likely to get go mode on this restream is Specs, assuming they go into pod soon. They're one boss fight away. Helmosaur's fairly simple boss, especially with Tempered Sword. Yeah. Yep, that's the fun part of Enemizer. Well, actually, this isn't technically an Enemizer seed, but if you roll an Enemizer seed, there's almost always a palette shuffle. But this is just a boss shuffle. But again, boss shuffle enemies. I wonder if that's because Specs has a palette shuffle on their seed, or if it's because of the Enemizer of the boss shuffle mode. But that half magic is really making the back of Skull Woods even easier. You can be a little more careful with your fire rod shots. Alright, Aku's picking up that book, which unfortunately doesn't lead anywhere. Just gonna put them further from where they need to be. Koi has just defeated the second Moldworm, so if this is a standard boss shuffle, that should be the last Moldworm we see. This is that type of run, yes. So if Helmosaur King is in the Skullwoods boss room, yeah, the tail spins right round like a helicopter. It is... Yep, it is a thing to behold. It's probably the best thing about Enemizer. Barring the cannon guards. The cannon guards are a... you have to play full Enemizer to see them, but they're an unused enemy. Yep, because Moldorm takes spike damage, and that room is filled with spikes, and Moldorm bounces off the walls, which are spikes. Alright, and Koi is fairly close to getting their 7th and final crystal. So they're, what, 1, 2, 3 more rooms away from the boss. And Specs is heading to Pod. We'll find Bow there, leading to Go mode. Specs also has Lamp, which will make their dark rooms a little easier. Koi's sprite actually is the Red Maiden, which is the character Blind disguises himself as in the vanilla. Oh, actually, in Vanilla Boss. So in Thieves Town, you have to rescue the Red Maiden from the cell, and you bomb a hole in the roof above the boss room to get sunlight in. Blind doesn't like sunlight. And it's revealed, aha, I was the boss this whole time. Which just occurred to me, Koi has Red Maiden with Red Male. Alright, and Aku is going back to Meyer and they will find their Red Cane soon. Probably will defeat the boss because Lamp, yeah, it's going to make that pretty straightforward. We have not seen a Trinex at all. It just occurred to me, we have not seen a single Trinex fight. And I'm not sure if Trinex can... because Trinex can only appear in a couple boss rooms. So it's possible we won't see Trinex at all this seed. Yeah, and I think the Ice Armos room in the basement of GT is the only room left that Armos can appear in. I don't think the Landmo 2 fight room is big enough. I mean... yeah. Alright, Aku has found their Red Cane. Once they find the big key, they'll probably be going straight to the back. Yep. Oh, Koi had not... I miscounted Koi's crystals. Koi had not cleared Meyer, but... oh, and that's right. Koi does not have the... that makes sense. If you don't have Lamp, clear the other crystals in your path. Hope that you find Lamp in the way before you try to the Meyer Dark Room. But all the way up in the room 2, no problem. Take the 2 heart tax, getting past that spike. Yeah. And Koi is well practiced at this. Literally makes tutorial videos for a Link to the Past randomizer. So... probably has one for Dark Room Meyer routing. Alright, Specs has their Go mode Bow. So Specs has now entered Go mode at 1 hour 26:20. Right about a minute before Koi goes into the... yeah, that is truly impressive. So those fire spears in that first room can really ruin your day. And that second room is, while easier, it still has its annoyances. There is actually an anti-fairy in that room. If you take too long, it comes down. Alright, it's time for the GT Big Key guessing game. 7th and final crystal, so we're numbers between 1 and 22 in chat. Oh, anti-fairy is the, they take 1 heart and they drain your magic. Yep. But we are, that is the last thing we really have to worry about. Where is that big key? Seeing a 13, 11, 12, 14, a 7, a 1, 15, 16, 2, and 21. All right. Looks like we're getting a lot of midway into the dungeon guesses. So far, no one's guessed 22 yet. I mean, it's really rare when that's the case. Usually when it seeds this mean the big key is up pretty early. I'd guess somewhere in the first 10 checks, but if I had to guess, I'd go with my usual 6. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm having that problem myself. Oops, sorry. Forgot I had push to talk. Fire shield on Bob's torch. And assuming I didn't miss a full right side, which is unlikely, Koi is most likely doing a Dark Magician route for their GT. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Uh-oh. Okay, Koi is not doing Dark Magician. They're use Bombos to, so Koi is going full left. The Seed has angered the stream. This is the Seed's final revenge. Hopefully we get things fixed up in a minute. And we can always extrapolate where... Yeah. Let me try that myself. Ah, Koi did Rando Rush. Okay. Hope Room, so no small key, right side, so did go right left. I'm sure someone has done that analysis. I know there's some people that will take a lot of seeds that have been generated in this current mode and run it through a program to find out, okay, like more often than not, there's something here in the front of Skull Woods, or like what areas are more likely to check. So there's probably been similar analysis on GT big key placement. Unfortunately, no new information yet. Alright, Koi's fighting Ice Trinex. Yep, we do have some nice, relaxing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tunes to relax to at the very least. Yep, that's for everyone, Rossi. That is, unfortunately, we are frozen up. All right, so Koi has died to Ice Trinex, which is a. Did Koi do the tile room? I mean, if not, I can see the argument for checking the tile room chest and. All right, can you hear me? All right. Unfortunately, I do not have visual right now. I'm going to have to pull up the Speed Gaming 3 channel to see what's going on. Okay, so GT Big Key is vanilla, which would put it at check number 20. Alright, and until I get visual back, I'm just going to have to go off the restream on Speed Gaming 3, because something is better than nothing. So I'm just visually seeing... Oh, so Koi still has not gotten the big key. And yes, Trinex is the boss from Turtle Rock. And much like Skull Woods, it's really the room that's the problem. It's not the boss itself. The room is the problem. The room is the real boss. All right, and Koi has Trinix down to his final form. Took a hit, and oh, unfortunate, another. Oh, but has a fairy. Has a fairy. Okay, we're good. Meanwhile, Aku is climbing the mountain. I'm not showing Skull Woods on the tracker, but it's possible that he has collected that crystal while the stream unfortunately went down. All right, and the big key is at location 21. 21 is the winner. And I can't scroll up enough to see who guessed. I know we had one person that guessed 21, so Fire Rod was in Turtle Rock Big Chest. Which, okay, that's why Aku's in Turtle Rock. Aku is going to find their Fire Rod, which will be their Go Mode item. And right. So about the time Koi gets to Land Molus 2 will be when Aku hits Go Mode. And Specs is... Looks like Specs has caught up a little bit in GT. I mean, that Ice Trinix taking you down. Alright, looks like... Alright. Stockway 2 has guessed correctly, won a year's supply. Actually, it's not a year's supply, it's a lifetime supply of free randomizer seeds and fake real internet points. Alright, so Specs and Koi are very close right now. They are a couple rooms apart on the Gauntlet. And Aku is about to pick up their Fire Rod. Unfortunately, Sun Personnel is having little issue with their Icebreaker. Oh yeah, this seed is just... This seed is mean. At Vanilla Flippers, the hookshot and hookshot was on the Catfish, and the mirror was on the Pyramid. So if you last location one of those, you're likely to leave the other one behind while you go follow the other one up the mountain. Yeah, and hookshot on Catfish is about as close as you can get to that without... Because that's just... It's a mean location for it, that's for sure. Alright, Koi is just about at the final bit of boss shuffle we get to see tonight. Who is on Moldworm 2's stage? It is Viddy. No, that's not Viddy. That's Cold Stare. We have Cold Stare as the final boss before we get to Agatu and Ganon. This is the last boss shuffle of the night. That is true, it is a boss with eyes, so it fits. And we have some validation bombs. 3 validation bombs. I mean, validation butter is always good, but... I forget what the text for Bombos on a book read is. Is it Swirly Coin or Ring of Fire? All right, got a nice double there from Koi, nearly a triple, but all right, Koi is done with Aga 2. Specs is just entering that fight, so they are neck and neck. And Aku is go mode, about to enter GT and find out the hard way just how mean this seed is. Which, yeah. All right, so Specs is going to be Koi starts the fight right at 144.00. Let's see. For Specs, it's probably going to be what? Very nice second stage patterns for Ganon. Okay, so 144.21 start for Specs. All right, Koi is in stage 3. So the most dangerous stage for the Ganon fight is the stage that Specs is in, where he's shooting the fire bats, because there's just so much to dodge, but Specs is making use of that cape, holding onto the wall so it doesn't bleed magic. All right, Koi's setting up. Looks like Koi might be setting up some triples here. And good setup on those triples. I'm not sure if Specs has a blue or green potion. They might. Oh, and they have butter. Butter is a nice sword to have, but it has limited help against the Ganon fight. It does make getting to stage 2 a little easier, but... Alright, Koi has just defeated Ganon. We're just waiting for that bridge to spawn in. We'll have first finish of the restream. Get your GGs in chat. I'm showing 145.57 from Koi. And confirmed in race room, Koi has finished the seed for second place with 145.57. And we have Koi in chat. GG's.
GG.
So, how'd you enjoy that seed?
It's pretty gross. Pretty gross.
It was, and for anyone that last location that hookshot or mirror, they were likely to leave the other one behind, which...
What? Why?
Well, considering if at that point you're like, okay, I've lost so much time, and both of those opened up most of them.
Like, I don't know, I guess other people can route differently, but there's no way I would do either one without doing the other. No matter what I found. Because, like, you get, like, you find something on the pyramid, right? If you don't do catfish right that second, you're never doing catfish, ever, forever and ever and ever.
All right, and Specs is just finished with, what's her time? Third place with a time of 146.45. GG's.
Thank you. GG's to Koi and everyone else.
GG.
How'd you enjoy this seed? Wasn't it wonderful?
I hated it for the first bit of it. I was checking everything, being thorough, and I was getting no progression. And I was getting really frustrated. I'm just like, where was this progression? Ended up being on Catfish, and then I last located the bow and pod. I went to Ice Palace beforehand. I got Lamp out of it, but otherwise, should have gone to pod sooner, but that was a choice I made. Felt Fates of Ganon was bad. Yeah, it was kind of gross with the Samaria and Meyer, and then the Fire Rod and TR and Mitts and Thieves. I actually did good in guessing all those things. It was the bow and pod that got me, which I should have gotten that one, but
you got the Fire Rod and TR before the bow and pod.
Yeah, I didn't go. Pod
That's
was
very,
like the
very surprising to me.
Pod and Eastern were the last places I went to. I got to a point where I had not gone to Pod for so long that I'm like, if the bow's there, I'm already losing. I might as well go all in.
You
I'm
fell
not
for the
doing
rando
it.
trap.
I was going all in on other stuff. I mean, I still got there. I went to Ice Palace first, hoping my bow would be there. That was the only thing I did like before I needed to get the bow. So Ice Palace was the one thing I should have cut out. But I got a lamp, so I'd go for you, Koi.
Oh, hard last locate the fire rod. Because,
That makes
like,
sense.
why wouldn't you do that? I mean, yeah, bowless pod's no fun, but it's 6 items if you can sequence break, right?
Oh no, you did the more correct thing.
I went to pod before Pyramid Catfish. Like, I went straight to pod as soon as, like, I had nothing good to do. I'm like, well, it's always pod. Just go straight to pod.
Yeah,
Bow, and then of course that would be the bow leads to nothing. So
Yeah.
I did Pyramid Catfish anyway.
Unfortunately, yeah, I did Catfish right before. If Catfish was nothing, I was gonna go to Pod, but when I got the hook shot and Catfish, I'm like, oh. And then I just didn't go to Pod for eternity because I kept coming up with other things. So I'm like, my Corwin items let me go do this. Like, I can go to Meyer, I can go to TR. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep doing these dives and go to Pod eventually.
I mean, I don't mind dipping TR, like, at the time, right? But I would never climb the mountain just for the TR dip without
I was
the fire
also
rod.
doing it for Hookshot Cave at the time. Although I ended up
Oh, you
not
hadn't
doing
been up there yet?
I had not been to Dark Death Mountain. Well, I had for Super Bunny in the first check of Hookshot Cave. I hadn't been for the other 3 parts of Hookshot Cave in TR.
Oh, I see. You went up there without the hook shot. I see.
But I knew that Quake was in TR. I knew Quake would open it, and I knew I had Samaria. So I'm like, well, that's an advantage I have over other people. I'm just gonna see what happens.
Yeah, I waited for the hook shot before I went to Dark Death Mountain, so I didn't have Kane yet or Quake at the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, AOS locating makes way more sense than mine. Mine was admittedly weird. I should have gotten a pod before Ice Palace. That was a weird thing I did. I'll admit it, but I had more fun going to Ice Palace.
No, I mean Ice Palace is fine. Like if you're Fire Rods and Logic, that makes sense to go to Ice Palace. Full clearable dungeon beats out a non-clearable dungeon, right?
And I had Samaria, so it wasn't too bad.
And it's 6 items in Ice Palace because of Green Pendant, and then you can even turn in the Green Pendant on the way to pod. So like I can totally understand going to Ice.
That's
first.
why I did it. I'm like, well, it's probably pod, but I'm like, but if it's Ice Palace, this is gonna pay off. So I just went for it.
I got to avoid Ice Palace because Fire Rod's my go mode, and Fire Rod was my logical access to Ice because the Bombos was lamp locked.
That would make sense. I skipped the back of pod, but other than that, yeah,
the Bombos was in
lost that here.
the Dark Maze.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, you could
I-
have gone to Ice Palace.
Yeah, well, I thought about it for a second, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's dumb because it's out of logic, and like you often sequence break throughout the game, but it doesn't make as much sense to sequence break items that you actually want to find. So sequence breaking fire wasn't the best play at the time, so I went Pyramid Catfish instead.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now your plays totally make sense. Mine were a little weird, admittedly, this seed.
Losing 5 minutes dying to Ice Trinex though, that was all not good.
I luckily did manage that one. I had like half magic, 15 hearts, and red mail, so I was able to get through it with tempered. So
Oh, I had
too
everything
bad.
too. I just I was overconfident in my heart count. I drank the green potion instead of the blue one because I thought, nah, I don't need the blue one.
I hate when I do that. Yep.
So I did Tower Room to avoid going back too. So I think all in all, it probably cost me around 5 minutes.
Yeah, that makes sense, because if you've taken a death there, you're just hoping, oh, please, don't make me go back there again.
At this point, you're just hoping that it's actually Tower Room and you actually save time by dying. But alas.
All according to my genius plan.
I don't know what Mr. Ed did. I have no idea what he did. Like, I felt like my route wasn't that bad. I mean, and with where the items are, you have vanilla flippers, bow and pod, fire rod and TR, Quake left side swamp, mitts at the back of boss shuffle, pendant thieves. Like, you gotta last locate something in this seed. There's no way you don't last locate something.
Yeah, and the logic chain to get to things, because like once after Myths, the logic chain was to go into Thieves Town for your bombos, to go into Ice Palace for your shovel, to get your lamp, to go. It went off the rails. It was, and I expected you to dip into Mire for your red cane and Turtle Rock for your fire rod.
Yeah, the caneless Meyer dip into fire rodless TR dip is pretty gross. I mean, if you have the lamp, it's not as bad. Like, I'd be more willing to go to Meyer if I had the lamp at that point. But, like, if you have the lamp, that just means you full cleared an unnecessary dungeon too. So it's not even that good.
All right, looks like Aku's just about to. Well, they're clearing their. I want to say Moldworm 2, but it's their Cold Stare 2, yeah. Cold Stare 2, Electric Boogaloo. So they're about about 2 minutes away from finishing.
All right, I gotta step off though. So thanks so much for the restream and GG's.
GG's. Congratulations on second place with this fun seed. All right, looks like some personnel was able to get their icebreaker, either abandon their icebreaker or Makata to work. Right now, Aku's at Aghanim 2. Nice triple there. About to go into the Ganon fight with Butter Sword, half magic cape. Pretty straightforward. And apparently the silvers were in Turtle Rock. I missed that part. And that positioning for stage, for round 2 of the Ganon fight is very... Being able to be against the wall there so you can get multiple slashes in really quickly makes that a lot quicker. And of course, the silvers were in Turtle Rock. Going for a nice triple setup. And this should be the last fire rod shot before... Fortunately, I'm hearing audio for some of it. Can't tell if those are... Nope, I was wrong about those fire rod shots. I was hearing hits from them. Alright, so Akuheist is just finished, is waiting for the bridge to spawn. Get your GGs in chat. And Akuheist just finished in 6th place with a time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 53 seconds. GG's. And see if we can get them in the chat for commentary, or then the restream for commentary. GG's.
Hey, thanks.
What a seed.
It was.
Yeah, there are just so many things the seed asks for you to just dip without any dip in the pod for a bow.
And then Meyer for the red cane to get Fire Rod and Turtle Rock. And I ran out of bombs in Ice Palace, so I couldn't check that big chest at that time. Threw me off for a little bit there.
Yeah, and just when you think you're home free, you have to fight Ice Trinex in GT Basement.
Yeah.
I'm very impressive that you managed to get this sub 2, because this is just this is mean.
It is mean.
As I was looking at the mirror hookshot placement mid-seed, because if you last location those, you find one, both of them open up the mountain. And you can
Right.
get to them from either side, because you're logically supposed to have the flippers to get them, so you could North Dark World, or you could just, or the faster way would be the pod Dark World portal in. The problem is, if you just say, okay, I've got my progression, I'm following this mirror and or hookshot, and go up the mountain, check all that, fine. I don't remember it being much up the mountain.
No, really, there wasn't much up the mountain. Book was up there that led to nothing.
Yep.
And I don't think other than Turtle Rock entrance information.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it too. I missed where the lever 2
think-
swords were.
I think Ice Rod was in Super Bunny, but that was it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ice Rod up there.
Yeah, I forgot about that mirror. That mirror on Pyramid was like the first thing that stumped me that I was close to last locating. And then yeah, because of it, I didn't grab the hook shot on Catfish for a while.
Yeah, I just kept going north because I didn't want to isolate Catfish.
Yeah, and that's what Koi said he did as well, for the same reason, because if you don't check it then, it's the last place you come to, and that's...
Yeah.
So it really depends what mindset you're in when you find that mirror on the pyramid. If you were like, okay, like I don't want to leave this behind, then you're golden. But if you felt like I just want to catch back as much time as I can, and that's quite a few screen transitions and running around to get for one check, yeah, I can fully see leaving that behind, and unfortunately realize.
I was thinking of bringing the Smith up there, but I got flued out of Hype Cave, so I decided to activate that. Yeah, and that would have been a play, just run all the way up to Catfish with the Smith.
Yeah, it did occur to me, but yes, it's fully possible to do so. I've never occurred to me that, yeah, you can make the two of them meet.
Yeah, you can. It's rarely done. And I was thinking, if I didn't find anything in a Hype Cave, I'm just going to continue on.
But at that point, you had Titan's Mitts and Flute, so that gives you logical Death Mountain access, and it also gives you Mire Area access, which odds are is going to be one of your medallion knowledge, which is very useful to have.
Right. And more checks than 2.
And yeah, it's like, even if it's just like it's a knowledge check plus 2 checks. If you have a mirror, suddenly it's 3 checks in Dark World plus 2 Light World and the front of Desert. But I also noticed that a lot of people wanted to do Desert Palace without a fire source. But both fire sources were very rudely located. Like, yeah, that fire rod was mean, but that lamp inside fetch quest item inside a pendant dungeon after you would have had to. All right, but do we have anything else to say about the seed? I was instructed to end the seed after interviewing you, Aku.
Okay. Throw it in lava pit.
All right, you heard it here. Banish it to the fires of Mount Doom, that it may never, ever see the light of day again. One seed to rule them all, one seed to find them.
Thanks for the commentary, Fugitive. It's appreciated. Thanks everyone else for the tracking and the restream, and everyone for watching. It was a fun race.
Thank you to our trackers, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna and Jambo Frames. Put in a lot of work, make this all possible, making it look good. Thank you so much. And hope everyone has a great evening. Wish some personnel best of luck with the seed. That they're sticking with the seed after 2 hours. That's some commitment. That's beat the seed. Don't let the seed beat you. All right. GG's to everyone running this race, and have a great night.